Oh, so I just wanted to hear your thoughts on 3.0. I haven't played any of it, but you know what my expectations were, right? And I know
Yeah.
your expectations. So I'm curious, now that 3.0 dropped, what do you think about it?
So far as of now, and I'm being fair, by the way, I want you to take into consideration that I'm actually, if anything, I'm trying to lean towards a positive bias.
Mhm.
That said, the story is a 6 to 6.5 and I've been streaming for 4 hours, almost 5 hours.
You've been doing a lot of the story? Like how many hours have been story?
Strictly story. I've been doing strictly
Oh.
story, and the problem with it right now is there's been zero effort put forth to improve the methodical approach. They're still doing. In fact, we literally not too long ago, Jed, we literally were stun locked in a static image of Aglia while she was walking us through 18 different background story talks, and it was just the same image for like 7 minutes.
Really?
And we're in chat, even chat, like, well, what? All right, bro, are y'all serious? And it was such a good delivery too. She had us close our eyes, which here's the real cheap part. The screen was just black to, like, I guess, present us having
Your
our
eyes are
eyes
closed.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
no, it's immersive.
yeah, and then it it delivers this static image for the next 6 minutes of her talking about like so many different, actually good storytelling plots. But the way they present it is just as pathetic as it is in every other patch.
Man. You know that thing that they sometimes do in Honkai Star Rail? I think they did it in WoW recently, where they have like these cool images of like almost like a stained glass window, or like they show these kind of, I don't know, like really artsy kind of pictures to depict like the past or like a war or something like that.
You said
kinda
that
know
in,
what I
in
mean?
Zilla Zone Zero? Is that what you said?
No, and I said like WoW had it recently, and I think Honkai Star Rail's done that in the past as
Oh yeah,
well. I don't know if anyone knows what I mean. Like,
When
but you
Raiden
have
was
like
in the rain talking to the old guy during the Nihility part.
yeah, or like things like that. Yeah, like different styles. I feel like those kind of still images can work really well, right?
I agree.
But it needs to have like sort of a different, unique look to it and feeling for people to actually get into that kind of thing. But yeah, something like just a still image of just Aglia or like close your eyes. That's pretty lame.
Just more of it. No, what you said was perfect. More of that would be great. I brought up a talking point. I was saying in ZZZ, the comic book strips are genius because you're able to actually like almost watch it, a visual
Yeah.
adaptation, but it's just in comic book fashion. But they just don't. They're not doing it at HSR. The other thing,
Yeah.
Jen, is that is I got pump faked. I'm like, oh, they've showed like a lot of cutscenes in the time that I've played compared to HSR's previous story. But the cutscenes have been no longer than 10 seconds, every single one of them. And a majority of them have just been an intro of a character, not like a meaningful story approach to what they've been doing with world building. They just introduce Mighty in the most meathead way, and then they introduce a boss, and then whoop, cutscene done.
Well, you know why though? They got to show them off so you're like, oh, I can't wait to pull that character.
Yes. Yeah, I see, and I know you understand that. Every time there's any kind of cutscene, it's to sell a character that they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
But in the other ways, I think they're actually doing a good job explaining the world building. I really do. People call it yap a lot because it's just people don't like to read inherently. They're doing a good job explaining it. They're just presenting it in the laziest fucking way known to
they
mankind.
just tell you like, well, 500 years ago this happened, and now the world is like, yeah, like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, think about the difference in what they could do though. They could do so much more world building if you just go to a place and you're like, whoa, this place is so cool. Like, I want to know more about what's going on here. Like, that's what happens in a game like Elden Ring, right? You just go somewhere and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, what's up with this? And then if they could drip feed you info after, then it would be really interesting because you want to know more. But instead, they tell you before you even know about anything, about everything ever, right?
That sums up the entirety of my experience in this 5 hour span. It is all tell, don't show. Tell, don't show. And it gets mind numbing. Like, for instance, the Aglia part I'm telling you about, her VA was God, she was delivering those lines in the best way possible. She was also explaining some really good shit. But when I'm sitting here staring at a picture the whole time, after a while, I'm just like, okay, I get disengaged. You know?
Yeah, totally understand that. Even if you're really interested in knowing more, it's like at a certain point, there's just too many words you're reading.
Yeah.
And it's just a pain in the ass. Like, you may as well just read a book. Honestly, the craziest thing, I think books actually do a better job of explaining than MiHoYo games, because they actually will, you know, they'll explain the scene and what the characters are doing and like everything happening in the background. But in a game like Honkai Star Rail, they just have the camera pan around the characters and like spin, and there's not really anything to it. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I'm a big light novel reader, so I know exactly what you're saying.
Oh, dude, me too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've read some crazy light novels, like Don Machi when they were in the fucking dungeon. I don't know if I'll probably, that's a whole nother conversation, honestly.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what you mean about a book like captivating your attention span with how they're describing
you really
stuff.
want to know more. You're like, what's gonna happen next? I need to know what happens next. I never get that feeling from Gacha stories where I'm like, I have to find out what's next, and like, holy crap, this is so insane. I need to see the next chapter. I don't get that feeling from these kinds of stories.
The other thing too is introducing a brand new Greek world. I feel like for me, it's not hard to make me go, oh, because I love Greek naturally.
Yeah, I love Greek mythology. It's sick.
I shit you not, the world building, and I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. It's just, I'm just numb to what they're showing. And I don't think it's because I've seen so many Greek stories. I think it's because the graphic fidelity and the quality of the presentation of the world is not only like desaturated and dried out, but it's just not detailed enough as well.
Yeah, I also think they are not the type of people to go far enough, because Greek mythology, it's like fucking crazy, right? And also like, yeah, and it also has lots of tragedies and stuff like that, and you know Hoyoverse is not going to do that. Like, they will turn whatever tragedy happens. Okay, I'm just going to say this right now. I'm going to call it. Any tragedy that happens, you know it's going to get turned around, and it's going to be okay in the end. Everyone knows this. Anyone who supposedly dies is going to be okay unless it's in the final patch, okay? This
is the 13-year-old age rating that I just saw.
Yeah, like, you know they're not going to do anything crazy. Okay, the moment Zhao Chu lived, I knew they were never going to kill a character off. The moment that guy, a side character nobody even cares about, that was poisoned, bleeding out in a jail cell, the moment he showed up and was like, yeah, I'm blind now, but we're going to find a cure, I was like, okay, they're never going to kill anyone.
And he was with the most vile villain in the entirety of the game's launch. This bro was a savage.
Yeah, and he's like, he started drinking his blood, and it was like, oh my god, he's dead. Like, he's finally, oh my god, he poisoned himself with the strongest poison possible. That's like killing the guy who's killing him. Like, oh my god, he's dead, and then he's just fine. It's like, come on, bro.
It's so, to like wrap that too, I decided to go free to play in this patch, and I'm not spending a single penny until they show me it's worth it. And so now I'm looking at it from a free to play perspective, like, well, it's free entertainment at this point.
Well, I'll definitely say this though. I think so many people, I mean, this is maybe like a totally side thing, but so many people will say like, you can't complain about something like because it's a free game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many people bring that kind of I think that's such a ridiculous thing to say, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? But
I think both. I think it's I think it's true and untrue. When I say you can't complain if you're free to play, I say it because I'm basically going just uninstall the game at that point, because you just got other ways to play your time. But I also agree that if you want to point out bad things in a game, absolutely point them out.
Yeah.
But some people go, well, I want it to change now, and they're not spending any money, and it's just like, well, you can't expect any change at that point.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
It just doesn't work that way. But no, I agree, Jen. You should be able to fucking scrutinize the shit out of the game, regardless of whether you pay or don't pay.
So I've heard some people also say your rating is 7 out of 10. Is that what it is right now with the patch?
No,
7 out of 10?
No.
Oh, it went down?
It went down, yeah. Because every time I'm like thinking, oh, some elements are pretty solid. Like I said, the storytelling is not bad, but the presentation keeps making me put it back down to 6.5 and 6.
Well, I almost feel like it's the opposite then. Wouldn't it almost be like the story's good, but the storytelling, the way that they're actually telling you is bad, kind of? Like the actual substance is really good, right? But
let me think about that. Allow me to think, to digest a bit more. Because right now, what they're doing is they're essentially explaining to you what Amphorius is, what the people there believe in, and how they live their lives. They're setting these type of things up. They're explaining it in a way that I don't think is necessarily horrible. But like I said, when you're sitting there watching what they're saying with just two people going, it's just like, I can't take what they're saying and consume it.
Especially if it's like an NPC that like looks so much worse than everybody else, and it's like, who the hell cares what this guy's talking about? Like, get off the screen.
And they had a whole dude, bro, in the beginning just fucking yapping away.
Yep. And the thing is, like, they could so easily show not tell some of these things. Like, for instance, I haven't even played it, right? But like, I just know, like, especially with like they're talking about the titans and like gods and stuff, like they could show like, I don't know, a temple and the people worshiping and like how they do it and stuff, and you could get like some insight into how these people are and what they believe in just off of that, right? You don't even have to say anything. You could just see like, I mean, it could even be like a few still pictures of a cutscene. It doesn't even need to be like an actual explanation, but if you just see these things like, oh, this is what the people are like here and how they like worship or what they believe in, and that already gives so much world building into the whole area, right?
To advocate that point too, there was a scene where they were trying to like do what you do when you're reading a book. They were like, Dan Hung steps up. He's feeling quite nervous, and he's not quite sure if he should proceed forward. I'm like, bro, just show that. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, that's actually insane. You're not reading a book. How can they not? Oh my god.
And that's what it is, Jen, is that they're fucking literally making you read a book, but with the visual novel, bro. And they do it over and over and over again. And they'll say things like, well, back in the day, the gods built the 7 seas. And they gave people breath of life. And they're not showing that at all. They're just showing Dan Hung stare at fucking the main protag.
That's actually so insane. That's like actually just, you can't give them a pass for that at all. That's ridiculous.
That's why I said I'm actually biased towards the positivity I'm giving it. I'm trying to like hold it because I feel like giving a game a 5. You know, it's like, ooh, but it's a 3.0. You know?
Yeah, no, this is like a huge update. And when you compare, like, think about how much more effort was put into ZZZ 1.4.
Correct.
Is how I see it. It's like, that's not a version update, and yet they changed core things about the game that people had problems with.
Jen, real quick, let me interject. Hey, chat, as you can see, another guy is saying the exact same things I said, which goes to show that those dumb fucks in the chat earlier who said I was being too critical, no, I wasn't. He's saying, is he not saying the exact stuff I was saying? Jen, is that I was telling them, I was like, why would I not be critical when I'm watching in real time Zenless Zone Zero do all the things that HSR refuses to do?
Yeah, a lot of people will always say, like, don't compare two things, right? A lot of people like to say that, but that gives you perspective, because if something is doing something incredibly well and then you compare it to something that's not doing very well, that's the perspective. You now understand how well something can be done. And so it's the same company, too.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Company. Like, this is not like, oh, you know, this is just a more indie company versus some AAA company. It's like, you have all the money. This is the same people. You're just not putting the effort in that this other team is.
You need to emphasize the same people part too. Like, how is this the same company and these fuckers ain't put in a skip button? Like, bro, what?
I mean, look, we all know what it is, right? It's because ZZZ was making way less money and had way less players. Honkai Star Rail, it's riding high. It's #1. You know, it's doing great on the turn-based games market. It's #1.
Wholeheartedly agree.
And then ZZZ, it's like, oh, we got a skip button. We're overhauling this parts of the gameplay. We're adding all these cool things, tons of quality of life that isn't in the other two. Wouldn't it be so wild, pretend, like, imagine if they had gear sets in, like, you know, Wuthering Waves or something before, you know, Genshin. Would that be insane?
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, but you're right. Crazy. They've been crawling out of a ditch. They've been trying to crawl out of a ditch the whole time, whereas HSR has been sitting on its fucking mountain Olympus. Mount Olympus, bro.
It's thrown. It's just been sitting there, and everyone loves the game. So it's like, why change anything? Everyone loves it, so there's nothing we need to do. But I feel the exact same way as you. And it's funny, you also read a bunch of light novels, because, like,
a lot.
That's exactly how I feel when I compare, like, the excitement I get when I read, like, a good story and I'm, like, hype about it. Like, I'll be there for hours just reading. Like, I get so hype about some of these books I've read.
Dude, I've read some that others probably wouldn't read. Like I said, like, I've even read Konosuba just because I was trying to see who the fuck the main protag would end up with out of the 3.
Dude, I've read a bunch of weird shit, like Korean and Chinese novels, too.
People would look at me differently if I told them all the shit I read. They'd be like, what the fuck, Smack?
Dude, yeah, I've read some weird things. I talk about some of these on stream just because, like, I don't know, there's some really good stories out there. But anyways, like, when I think about that feeling I get when I read a good story and then I compare it to gacha stories, it's completely night and day. And it always blows my mind when people talk about how good some of these gacha stories are. And I read it and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, this is really, like, not that good at all.
I feel like what we're saying is tangible evidence of our opinion on a gacha story being garbage, being pretty valid. It shows that we have patience. If we're willing to sit here and read a whole light novel, multiple of them, dozens of them, it's obviously not that we're impatient. That's the last thing we are.
People will always say that too. People will be like, whoa, that's just because you can't, like, you need to pay attention, or they always blame it on you rather than the story being bad or something. It's like, bro, like, dude, I've probably read more than you have in your whole life, okay? Like, I am not the impatient one here. You're the guy with ADHD, okay? Like, I am sitting here reading for hours on end. Why are you trying to blame me and not the company? Like, why am I the problem, not the story here?
It's
Okay.
brain rot, man, at its finest, dude. Another point I wanted to bring up for you too, just so you know ahead of time, is maybe 2 out of the 7 tracks I've listened to are good. The other 5 tracks sound like you can get them off copyright-free Epidemic.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. It's just almost like the bare minimum effort on a 3.0 update.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy that 3.0 is like, I don't know, as disappointing as you're saying. I feel like there was very little excitement for 3.0 going in compared to 2.0. Like, I don't even think it's close. 2.0,
Yeah.
I think everyone was really hyped. People were like, this looks so sick. I love all the characters. The music video was like amazing. 3.0, I saw lots of people not liking the music video, people not really that hyped for the content, people thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like 2.0. Like, people just kind of having a negative vibe about it.
It was the IGN Blues Clues guy, bro. It was all
Dude,
his fault.
That guy, he was the worst advertisement I've ever seen, bro. He made 3.0 look so bad, dude. So either that guy was terrible at his job, or 3.0 actually sucked that hard that was the best he could get, basically. Like, that guy made it look so bad.
Or he had the shit in like 420p too, bro. The quality of the fucking
when I was watching, I was like, is his computer like messed up, or does the game just look like trash? Like, what's going on here? Bro, like, he was just playing like Putt Putt Saves the Zoo or like Pajama Sam level, like the way he was speaking, like, it was insane.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Jenizat, I'm just gonna say it. I think it's not looking good for HSR, but at the same time, I feel like so many people just accept shit in the Koyo sphere, and I feel like they're gonna just continue to give them the money they don't deserve, and that's gonna perpetuate them never improving it.
It might drop a little bit though. I think
I agree. But are you of the sentiment that China has to be the one to change in order for the change to occur? I don't necessarily believe in that. I feel like the global revenue matters a lot.
The thing is, here's the key part though. When you say global revenue, 80% of that is Japan, right? Like,
yeah, that's fair. They spend a ridiculous. And you know what's crazy about that too is Japan has the least population.
Yeah, of these like big countries
so
that have
much
less
money, man. Holy fuck.
They're insane, dude. Yeah, but like, I would say China plus Japan is probably like 90% of all revenue for like Honkai Star Rail, ZZZ, and dude, even Wuthering Waves, Japan's like going up in the total percentage, like just every game, like. So it's huge, and Genshin is so big in Japan. Like, I remember when I was in Japan, there was so much Genshin marketing and ads and stuff around like Akihabara and other things. Like, it's huge there.
Yeah.
And so like, I really feel like they would have to be the ones to change it. But when you look at Japanese gacha games, the ones they like, bro, that ain't changing. Let's be real. Like,
the only one that comes to my mind is the fucking horse racing one, bro. When I heard that was a big hit in Japan, I was like, yeah, they're cooked.
My favorite 2 things: horse racing and other gambling. Oh boy, and girls. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, no.
Nah, man. But are you gonna play today, or are you chilling?
I don't even know if I'm gonna. I might just like try and pull for Herda, and then that's it. Like, dude, I have not played Honkai Star Rail in a while. Ever since they went back to Luofu, dude. Luofu was my least favorite part of all of Honkai Star Rail. The moment they said they were going back there, I was like, I don't even want to play right now. I haven't played for a while, bro. I mean, I really like the Herda. Like, I'm a fan of that character.
Same.
I totally want to pull her. But other than her, it's like, I'm not even really excited for. I can't believe I'm not excited for Greece.
Man,
it's like I'm not really hype about it. I'm not hyped to sit through all the talking. I don't want to deal with not having a skip button. If I could just skip there, and just skip everything in it, bro, I would be way more down.
I think the biggest problem, if I'm being honest, I think they did a horrible job showing off the world building of Amphorius, as well as just honestly just doing the world building too. I'm telling you, you're gonna see what I mean. That desaturation. When you go and look at Kingdom Hearts Mount Olympus, and then you just go and watch a Hercules movie, you're gonna see how much more colorful and how much more golden the skies look and the clouds look, and then you're gonna come in this and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? That looks a bit off. It's hard to appreciate the detail, and they got detail in here. They do.
It looks a lot more imposing, I guess, but here it kind of just looks more like a normal city.
A normal city. You don't, although they have Greek buildings and infrastructure, it still doesn't feel like you're in that Greek place.
So you're telling me if I just went to Greece, it would probably look more imposing than Amphorius?
I completely, yeah. And that's insane
It'd be
because
like,
it's a
whoa,
fictional
is it crazy?
game. It's like a fictional game, man. Vanilla Greek yogurt. Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame to hear because I didn't have high hopes for 3.0, but I wanted to be wrong. I wanted to be good because I like Honkai Star Rail, but I just don't like the way they've been going in like most aspects right now. That's
I
my
agree,
feeling.
man. That's why I'm really trying to push people not to quit the game. Just go free to play. Let them see that revenue drop. Let them notice. And you'll see what goes from there. But hey, at the end of the day, only one man has so much influence.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because like it's like some people might say like, oh gosh, like you have to quit to show it or something, but at the same time it's like, well, what would that do? That's not going to change anything, right? It's like that sure, I would have less fun and I guess it would prove my point, but at the same time it like that's not going to actually influence anything, so what's the purpose?
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Yeah, man, that's just one of the most difficult battles in the gacha space, is trying to get everybody to just be more aware of what these companies get away with.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't even have to do anything crazy, just that people are aware of what's happening, that they realize like how much better things can be, and that so many people in the gacha community, and I'm not trying to like talk down to them in any way, but they just don't have the perspective of how much more effort can go into some of these games and how much more can be done. They just don't know like what could happen.
You know what I've noticed, what it really boils down to? Nobody has ever said no to these companies. And by no, obviously there's only one way to say no. It's just like, don't play the update.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever done that. It just doesn't happen in these games. They just play through the shit. That's what I mean. And if they were to say, nah, I'm good, and not play it, they would realize the answer could happen so fucking fast. It would happen lightning fast, because they would look at their results and be like, oh shit, our game's died. We gotta make it'd be a Zenless Zone Zero situation.
Yeah,
Oh shit,
exactly.
we gotta get out of this ditch.
And you know what? It's crazy that you had that talk earlier with people saying you can't compare it to ZZZ or whatever, because ZZZ is like physical evidence that they can do it. It is evidence right there from the same company that they can listen, that they can make things way better, that they can do something big, not even in a version update, in 1.4. Like, who knows what 2.0 is going to be like for ZZZ. Yeah, you can like completely change your reputation like that by putting in the effort. That is physical evidence right there. So if they like, they can't deny it anymore. You can't deny that Honkai Star Rail could be improved when 1.4 did that. You just can't. It makes no sense.
And right now, the only improve I'm asking for is just the story. I haven't even tackled the other elements. I'm like, dude, just improve the story, because everybody loves going, well, it's a story game, so who cares about all that in-game nerdy try-hard shit? Okay, well, then improve the fucking story, because it sucks too.
You know, what's funny is games that aren't gachas, like some of them have really good stories too. Like there are actually genuinely good stories where like you want to know more and you're really curious about it. And it's like, well, those are way better than these stories too. Why can't they be more like that? Yeah. Even if it's limited by a video game. Like, I don't get it, man.
I think somebody summed it up in chat earlier. They said that basically HSR, in the way it delivers its updates, is equivalent to a small indie turn-based game. And that's wild, because it's a $30 billion company. Like, how does a $30 billion company giving you small indie turn-based game product?
100%. Dude, I've played indie games with better stories. Like, I've played like small. It literally just comes down to someone being good at writing. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. And you know what's funny with Honkai Star Rail? Every update, people are like, "Oh, this guy from Honkai 3rd is working on it. This guy's really good. The last guy, he was a bad writer." They said that for 2.0, and now they said for 3.0, they're like, "No, that guy that worked at 2.0, no, he was a bad writer. That was the bad guy. No, the 3.0 guy, he wrote the best Honkai 3rd story." Like, bro, is 4.0 gonna be like the previous two guys were like hack frauds, and this guy's like the good guy? Like, how far are they gonna go with this, man? Like, bro, can you just hire like a good writer? Like, what's going on with this?
That's a classic case of a gacha player not knowing what good story is, though. They thought the shit they thought was good was actually insanely mid, bro. They hired a dude who has a degree in apology, you know? Apology, bro.
Yeah, and it's like the more you think about some of their stories, the more it like kind of breaks at the seams, right? Where you think about it and you're like, wait, this didn't really make sense. And like, why did they even do this? Like 2.0, like I liked it, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, why did so many of these things happen? Like, why are some of these characters even in the story? Like Sparkle, what was even the purpose of that character? Why did Aventurine have his whole arc only to get saved off screen by what's his face, the red hair guy, who showed up for no reason, by the way,
Yeah.
on the planet. Like he's just there now, and he's not even voiced. And like so many things about the update didn't make sense, even though I liked the story overall. Like I liked the theme of it, and those I thought it
Real
was cool.
quick.
But the more you think about it,
I was gonna say real quick, I thought Sparkle was great until they did that stupid ass firework troll thing at the end. I thought she was actually gonna like blow the place up and be a little shit stir, but she ended up being surprise fireworks show. That for me killed Sparkle's entire role. I was like,
Well,
oh my fucking god.
well, the reason I don't like her is, or well, I like the character, but the reason I didn't like her in the story is like she didn't really have a purpose, right? She was kind of there just to sell the banner and nothing else. Just like, oh, I'm like, she had like a nuclear bomb button or something, and then what was even the point of any of that? Like,
It became
and she was just
fireworks.
kind of there. Yeah, she was just there for no purpose, and it just felt like, well, just say you want to sell the banner, bro. Put the fries in the bag at this point. It's like, it was like we know what you're
That's
doing.
fair.
Like, why are you even? Like, what are you even trying to do here, man? Like, you just wanted, she had to show up so you could sell the banner. Come on, like that, we all know. Same with, like, even Acheron, you know, they sold her banner
Dude,
and then
that's so
she's like,
fucking funny,
I gotta
right?
go. She's like, I gotta go back to the ship. I'll see you guys later, right after. And Aventurine, he's like, oh, my banner's about to end. I'm gonna go into the void here. See you guys later. Like, they keep doing that with these characters, bro. The moment their banner's gone, they're like, I'm out. Like, they step backstage. It's like a play, dude. It's insane. Like, they keep doing this. And you know what? 3.0 is gonna do that too. Aglia, she's gonna be gone soon.
Yeah.
Just like she's gonna be gone for as soon as her banner's gone. She's gone, dude.
It's
She's not in the
funny when
story anymore. She's gonna be like, I have to stay back here and protect the city or something, right?
All
She's
I
gonna be
think
gone.
about is the way making that fucking cross arm pose, bro.
Yeah, I know that emote you're talking about actually.
Dude, it's so good, but it's so representative of like bro's just trying to get a bag every time, man. And once the bag is secured, bro dips every single time.
That's how it feels, man.
I feel like right now though they introduced Castris in the most badass way, based literally to advocate what you just stated, all to just to sell her, man. Oh,
They get you hype.
The SFX balancing is so scuffed in 3.0, bro. Like you're sitting here, you barely can hear one person talk. The other person is insanely loud. Then you go into battle and you feel like you're fucking at a heavy metal concert. You're like, okay.
What the hell?
And it's just like, I'm sitting here constantly adjusting my volume to try to meet this and chat's yelling at me. I'm like, bro, I can't
Wait, that's
control this
insane.
shit.
Wait, that's actually crazy. I don't think they've ever had that problem before. I don't
Yeah.
think that's been an issue.
I mean, I don't know, man. That's pretty. I'm sitting here and I feel bad because everything that's come out of my mouth has just been nothing but scrutiny. But there's really not much to compliment based off of what I've experienced so far.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think you should worry too much about that because when it really comes down to it, it's like when something is done right, you'll always praise it and be like, this was really good. But
Yeah.
when the bads outweigh the good, well, then obviously you're going to be saying a lot more negative stuff because your overall experience is getting really impacted here. Like you're having a way worse time because of all these issues and it could be so much better, but...
And I was so excited to do the first impressions of Wuthering Waves because I had so much good to say.
Wait.
And I'm not a fucking
yeah.
Wuthering Wave shield by any means. I was just like, this 2.0 update cooked in so many ways that I just have a lot of good things to say about it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, you know, people will call me like a Kuro show or something, but a lot of people don't know. So before the 2.0 update, I was like, I don't know, man. If 2.0 isn't really all that great, like, I'm kind of gonna lose hope with this game. That's just gonna be another Genshin. Like, they're not really
was the
gonna do
same way.
anything to improve. I was like, I like the game, but you know, it's not really doing anything that crazy. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not gonna drop the game, but I probably would kind of put it more on the back burner, not like super interested. And then 2.0, I was like, oh shit, they actually exceed my expectations.
Jay,
like,
I
way more.
had
Like,
the
I was not
literal,
expecting much.
if you can chat as my witness, I had that same notion for ZZZ. I literally went on record and said, if 1.4 isn't cooking, I'm out. I'm just gonna uninstall this game and I'll wait on the next Gacha game to replace it. And they cooked and changed it. And I didn't say it out loud, but I had the same sentiment for WoW 2.0. I was like, if this shit doesn't cook, I didn't say this out loud, but I was like, I'm probably just gonna slowly fade off into the sunset. But those two games have been evolving. And I know we keep talking about it, but that's what puts HSR in the hot seat. If those two games didn't evolve, I'd have no ammo for HSR. But it's because they evolved.
Yeah, the thing is, they showed everybody you can do so much better. I'm actually making a whole video that's literally about those two games and the
Yeah.
fact that they did so much better and that people should use this as an example towards the other games that they're playing. Like, it is a literal example. You can go above and beyond. You can make a game be good. You can
Correct.
do more than the bare minimum to just take the paychecks.
Yeah, I think that sums it all up, man. No, if you want to talk about anything else, though, I'm down. But I mean, hell, I'm just chilling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That might be about it for right now. But I was curious about your thoughts
I
on
love this
3.0
talk, by the way,
just
Jen.
'cause,
Like anytime
yeah,
you
no.
want to talk, hit me up, bro. You know I fuck with you hard.
No, I know you do. No, I feel the same way. Like, it's good talking to you. I feel like we see a lot of things in the same way. I think we look at gacha games as a whole kind of very similarly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm out of curiosity, Jen. Do you work a separate job? Or
No. Streaming is my only job. That's all I do, man.
Has anybody ever told you you have a very similar vibe to Asmongold?
No, nobody's ever told me that, but I've always felt like Asmongold and I would probably get along.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
all I know.
y'all have a very chill demeanor that's incredibly like pragmatic and looks at things at just a a way that is hard to deny. You know what I mean? And it's so
when I'm in
it
my
comes
chat,
off effortless.
when I'm in my chat, everyone just says L take nonstop. Whenever I'm talking to somebody else, everyone's spamming based. So, like, I don't know. I farm based in other people's chat, but whenever it's mine, everyone just says I'm dumb and L take. So
Yeah, no, man, you're a stellar guy, Jizz. That's the reason why I like you, man. And I don't say that shit about a lot of
thanks.
people. I have very few people in this space that I actually compliment.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I really like getting to know other content creators because, like, I don't know, I was in a space where there weren't really that many content creators, and I feel like I have such a great time getting to know all these new people. I'm really, really liking it. It's a lot of fun, honestly.
Same. I always compliment Tech for that because he's a huge, like, little fucking tree that has branches, and the branches are the creators.
I guess connecting people.
Yeah, he does such a good job just connecting people, which I appreciate that about him, honestly.
Yeah, I think that the gacha space is overall all right. Overall,
Yeah, you can't say
I think-
entirely.
not perfect, you know, but I think that overall I've been liking a lot of gachas. I'm excited for Enfield. I don't know about you. You hype about it now after seeing that trailer?
Well, yeah, that was hard not to be excited for after it. And you know what's crazy? I had a 0% interest in that game until I saw that
I know
shit.
you did. Yeah, and then you saw it and you're like, wait, this looks really good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
They pulled a ZZZ. Am I crazy? They completely changed up a lot of things about their combat.
Yeah, oh, they literally completely changed the combat. It was a
Yeah.
completely different style before. Yeah.
That's why I had 0% interest. I saw the combat before. I was like, nah, that shit's ass. I'm good. And then they showed it again, and I was like, whoa, they
Not only
actually
that,
changed that up.
but dude, just graphically, that game is insane. It's the best looking gacha game ever.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
never been a gacha that looks even close. It looks absolutely insane.
You know what it
just
looked like?
visually.
It looked like the newest, not the older ones, the newest PSO, which is sad because it fell off a cliff. But
Dude, wait, you liked Fantasy Star Online too?
it's one of my greatest games of all time.
Dude, Fantasy Star Online 2, I used to play the Japanese version like all the time with like the English patch. Holy
yeah.
shit, I grinded that game, dude.
It's
That game was one of my
legendary.
favorite. And then they brought it here and it was just the biggest piece of shit. That was so sad, dude. I
It
was
is
so
a-
hyped for PSO 2.
Dude, it is a pillar for so many games today. Even these
It is.
gachas, I see them taking a lot of shit from PSO.
Its combat was so much better than even modern games. Like,
Yeah.
and that game was made in like 2012, and its combat is like so smooth, feels good. You can cancel out of everything. It feels amazing.
Yeah.
All the weapons are unique. Like, it had so much going on. And then, you know, you play some games now, and you're like, how the hell did Sega make this game in 2012 and it shits on yours? Like, what's going on here?
There's some devs that used to just I feel inherently the devs made games. I know it sounds crazy today in 2025. They made games not to make money. They just wanted people to be like,
no, exactly.
I
They
like
wanted
this
to
game.
make good games.
Yeah,
Yep.
they wanted to make a good game, and I just feel like that shit just almost doesn't exist today.
Yeah. everything's too corporate right now and about like shareholders and shit. Like look at Nintendo. You know there's some good passionate people working on the games, and then you look at the lawyer department and you're like, oh fuck, like these guys are shitheads, right? And people hate Nintendo even though the devs are like, hey, I made this really cool Kirby game. I hope you enjoy it. And then everyone's like, fuck Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right?
Nintendo's suing so many fucking people these days,
exactly.
man. I can't blame them. I saw a Pokemon looking creature in Duet Night Abyss, and I was like, oh shit, you guys better look out, man. Nintendo's going after you.
Oh yeah. Are you gonna play that game, by the way?
Oh yeah, because I well, for one, I met them in Japan when I got flown out for the sponsor.
Oh wait, that's sick.
Yeah, they were so nice. Nice freaking team, man. Honestly, all devs are nice when you meet them in Japan, but I also did a sponsorship for the game about like 9 months ago. And it was, dude, the combat was really good. I know everybody says it's just a Warframe copy and paste, but I don't give a fuck. If it's a Warframe copy and paste with anime, I will sign me up.
It already looks like they've changed a lot of the characters and their stuff since the last beta. If you watch the like newest trailer,
Yeah.
it looks like they changed a lot. Kind of like how Enfield, like when you watch the OG trailer or the OG beta, it looked like way worse than it does now. There's so much time has been put into it.
Right. I'm sitting here looking at Google Trends. This is off topic, but and 3.0
I
is
can see it on your
definitely,
screen.
yeah, okay, it's definitely spiking up. It's at 100 points right now, actually.
Oh, it is launch day. This is like a big day right now.
And I was gonna say, I'm just gonna follow that up. I wonder what it's gonna look like in 3 days.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that is kind of what matters, is how long before it falls off. Because
yeah,
I'll definitely say this. Look, it's gonna sound like woo-woo glaze or whatever. Wuthering Waves has had a surprising like peak still. Like it's still doing fine after the 2.0 update. I thought in terms of like, hey, at least my viewership and stuff, like 2.0 did so well that even like a week later it's still doing fine.
yeah.
But you know what happens with some of these updates where everyone's
scale down. Actually, you're right. That's a really fucking healthy scale down.
you know, well, now it's probably falling off a little bit, but like for instance, everyone would be like, ZZZ is the best game ever. This game is so peak. Fuck the haters for like, I don't know, version 1.2 or 1.3. And then like one day later, no one's playing the game anymore, right? Like, it's like everyone's saying like, this game is so peak. And then like 2 days later, they're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out of content. Like, I'm not playing this shit. I'm not uploading this video to YouTube. Like,
why you call me out like that, bro? That's what I did, bro. I played the fuck out there. I said, this game's the best game ever. And then 2 days later,
you're like, yeah, I'm done. It's like, I play this shit. Nobody watching this shit. Nobody playing this shit. But that's how it was, bro. Everyone was constantly gassing up ZZZ, and they were saying like it was so good. And then you're like, okay, we made less money this month, and we got less players. Like, what the hell's going on here? If it's so good, what the hell's going on here, man?
So like, for me though, Jen, is that seriously? For me, I left ZZZ simply because something else always comes out and takes my attention away from it. It's not, I was really loving it, and then it's just like, okay, I'm gonna come back, and then I never come back until the next update.
Because it ain't good enough that you're like, you know, I'm not really feeling it. Like, you don't feel like, oh, I really want to get this thing done or do this. You're just like, nah, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's kind of feeling you're getting.
Yeah, I will say I'm ready for the new wave of gachas, though, coming up in this year. Only because, for me, man, Wuthering Waves has absolutely impressed me. I will not deny that. But I feel like all gacha games, with the exception of Wuthering Waves 2.0, they just continue to decline, and it's almost pretty much like a natural process of you're ready for the next ones. Yeah,
I think we're about to enter an age of more like good quality gachas, because Hoyoverse, they essentially have created the example and the model that these can't succeed, right? So all these other companies have been working on their games in the background for years now, right? Like 4 or 5 years, they can get funding now because they're like, look at Genshin, look how successful it was, we can do that. Yeah. They've been working on these games. Now we have stuff like Arknight's Enfield. Now we have stuff like, you know, 3 urban gacha games like NTE, what's that other, Wang Yu, and Project Mugen, which is now Ananta. Like, we got all these games coming out now.
Yeah, and you were, what were you saying about them making them in the background? What was the point of reference there?
Well, I'm just more saying, like, they've been working on these games for years, because some of these games are probably taking like 4 years minimum to make, and so they've been working on them probably ever since Genshin's been like 1 year into service.
Oh, I get what
And
you're
now
saying.
they're all finally going to start coming out, and we're going to start seeing like waves of more gacha games. Like every year, we might see like at least one big gacha game come out because they've been working on them. And it's going to be like a pipeline, right? So we
Yeah.
saw nothing for a few years because the pipeline is still going along from the start, and now we're going to start seeing like waves of more games coming out, and they all have to compete. All these games have to compete not only with Hoyoverse but each other, and they have to be good.
That just brought me to a point of discussion that I feel kind of like gives the gacha space kind of a not a pass, but a little bit of a pass, and that is the demands of a gacha game have increased tremendously because of Genshin's gacha experience as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like now, because they showed us what these guys are capable of, we're now asking for a hell of a lot more from a gacha game, which I don't think that's a
no,
bad thing.
absolutely. No, it's a great thing. Genshin Impact. Okay, it's funny. It's like it was like 3 steps forward, 1 step back because like some of the things they did made people just willing to eat shit and like a shitty gacha system, stuff like that. But they elevated gacha games not only into the mainstream, but just like it's such a bigger medium now. Now it shows what you can do with these gacha games and that they can be so much more of a game than just a phone game, right?
And that's what I'm saying. And I feel like it doesn't give them a pass because now they're getting the AAA money along with that. So it's like
exactly.
Well,
they're making more money.
Give
they're
us
making
the
more
AAA
money than
experience
anything,
now.
dude. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, if you think about it, like some garbage phone game made in Japan that isn't even released worldwide probably made way more money than some of these AAA games. Like just some of these garbage games. Like you just spend like almost no effort, almost no money, put it on phone. Like look at FGO. That game puts like $10 of effort into every update or something, and they're raking in millions and millions. Why would you even make a real game that's not a gacha game?
I realize, you know what? That's such a good point. I'm confused, and maybe you can enlighten me on this. Because you know how everybody goes like, oh, Hoyo makes the most money in the space and all this, right? But the shit you just brought up, when you actually go and look at the rest of mobile games, not gacha games, but mobile games, dude, Hoyo's not even close. These, like you said, some of these overseas, like Korean games, I'm like, what the fuck kind of money is that?
Yeah, dude, a lot of people don't even know what Dungeon Fighter Online is. That game is one of the most, that game, it's a Korean game that's huge in China. It is one of the most successful games in history. It has made billions of dollars. Yeah, and people don't even know what it is more in the West. People haven't even heard of it. Yeah, someone even just said in chat, Honor of Kings. Honor of Kings is the #1 phone game in China every single month, and it's not even close. That game is literally a League of Legends knockoff that they made before Tencent got the rights to League of Legends. They made that game.
Did you see that the DFO, I guess devs, I don't know, they announced their trailer in the game of the year, that new visualization. It was a stunning anime. It was the DFO people, I believe.
It's that one that kind of looked Genshin-y, sort of like they were in Mondstadt.
That's the one.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that one.
Those are the DFO people.
You know, Berserker of Kazan? That's also DFO people.
I did not know that.
That was originally this thing called, I think, Project Barbecue, which was going to be an MMO, and then they scrapped the MMO and just turned it into that game instead, completely changed it.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Well, yeah,
something like that.
Said the shit you mentioned is like, I feel like that's why gacha games have made such a boom, because mobile games have always been insanely lucrative overseas. And I didn't know that until I said, let me look at all mobile game revenue. And then I realized Hoyo actually ain't making that much money when you look at them other ones.
Dude, yeah. Well, I mean, they still make a lot, but you look at like, hell, even shit like Candy Crush. It's like, this is absolutely, like, why would you make a good game when you could make that? It's like, why would you, like, think about how much money Candy Crush costs to develop. Man. Bro, Candy Crush probably costs less than $1 million to develop, and that game's made probably billions of dollars at this point. Like, why would you spend, like, remember how Hoyoverse apparently spent like $100 million on Genshin? Why would you even do that when you could just make Candy Crush? You're going to make way more money, like the margins is another one. Insane. Yeah, dude, like these things will always succeed so much harder. So for anyone who's actually trying to make a big game, so like Genshin or something, or, you know, like Ananta, any of these games, like they're going to have to compete on a playing field of like the big boys. Like you have to compete with each other. Your gacha systems are eventually going to have to become better because your competitor is going to be like, let's make our game a little more generous so that people want to play our game. And they're going to keep competing in that way. They got to compete in the amount of content, the amount of end game pulling you back to the game. They're going to have to fight each other. This is only a good thing. And Hoyoverse is going to have to compete with that too. They're top dogs for right now, but like who knows? Eventually, maybe a game comes out that just sweeps them. That's so insane, and they have to compete.
Yeah, the thing is though, like, man, I don't know, dude. I feel like the biggest legitimate argument I've ever heard for Hoyo is, or any gacha game, is the money sunk cost fallacy argument. I feel like people just cannot, like me, Jen, is that I'm be honest with you. I don't give a fuck how much money I spend in a game. Once I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I drop that shit. Like a sack of bricks, bro. But a lot of people can't adapt that mindset. And I don't understand, because I don't think they realize they do it every day in real life with food. As humans, we have to survive. You buy some food to survive, but that money's gone. If you buy anything in real life, go to watch a movie, that money's gone. Like, why are you so attached to an account? I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I always try to tell people that I understand the attachment to the account because I feel it, but at the same time, when it's something I don't like, I just drop it. Like, for instance, Honkai Star Rail, I was like, okay, so I could log in every day for this currency to try and pull for a character in a game that I'm not really feeling and not interested in.
Yeah.
Or I could just drop like $30, because the amount of pennies you're getting from logging in every day, it just ain't worth it. Like, I don't even want to put that as part of my day. It's just not worth the time to me. Like, so I just dropped it. I was like, yeah, I can play if I'm interested again, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you
I think
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that's really important, and like FOMO is just a big thing.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean, it's baked into the gacha infrastructure. It can. By the way, I saw Pokey in here earlier. He said, "Don't worry, I'll carry HSR or something like that by myself."
Bro, Pokey, you're gonna have to
the shit out of this patch. You're gonna have to at this
point. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be real. Like 3.0's drama, or like the drama around Honkai Star Rail has even gone downhill. So like the drama's going downhill, the game's going downhill, the power creep's going downhill. I mean, damn, everything's going downhill in every facet right now, dude. You gotta step it up. You're gonna have to carry this game right now, man. Yeah, dude, even the drama's not as good as it used to be. So like, you better step it up, bro. Like,
bro, Pokey's about to clock in and glaze the living shit out of this update, bro. Trippy's amazing. The cutscenes are long, even though they're 10 seconds. I'll just play it, Pokey, dog. Nah, man. But that's pretty much the state of the game off of my experience, man. And I'm gonna play as much as I can, and you know, we'll see what happens. But there's no way it changes from what I've experienced. It's just not possible.
Yeah, I know you like the game a lot, so
I do.
But I also think you are being pretty honest about it. Like, you might even be giving it a higher rating than other people would, who are like outside of it, maybe.
Well, I told you, I have a positive bias.
Yeah,
my 6.
You do really like the game.
And people are getting mad about it, but they don't realize I'm actually a positive bias.
You're being nice. You're being nice about it. You're giving that.
Bro, I tell you, I guarantee you, Tech's gonna rip this shit asunder.
You think so? He's gonna hate it that much?
Oh man, because he's gonna look at the app and he's gonna be like, dude, are you fucking serious, man? This is fucking garbage, man. I feel like he's finally like out of his HSR glaze phase.
Now he's in the ZZZ one. That's why.
Yeah, he's in the one with ZZZ. Like, he's out. He's been detached from HSR, and once that man is detached from something, bro, like,
yeah,
all gas.
I want Honkai Star Rail to be good, man. But you know what? Let's pretend 3.0 doesn't do as good as expected. Let's pretend that the player numbers drop as the updates go. I hope that means it's an alarm bell that they're going to do a ZZZ thing. They're going to be like, all right, we're going to start fixing these things. We're going to add these things. But who knows, man? People might just keep eating it up and being like, this is the best update of all time. And like every patch, they're going to say this is the best update of all time.
Well, that's the
only time will tell.
That's the dangers, man. Every time I think we're done with the conversation, you keep bringing up another point. I think that's the dangers of gacha games, Genizat, because like Wuthering Waves right now, it's on a great streak, right? And everybody's praising it. But then what happens is you get the community who doesn't know how to do anything but be positive. When's that one update going to come where Wuthering Waves lets up, if they let up or whatever, right? Yeah. And then everybody criticizes it, and they're going to be like, what are you doing? Why are you making fun of the game? And it's like, bro, hold on, man. Like, okay, they have absolutely been on a hot streak, but this one here deserves some criticism. I'm
really critical about Wuthering Waves. Games that I like, I'm usually even more critical than games that I don't like. And Wuthering Waves, I'm gonna be real. When you compare 1.0 to 2.0, that game is dog shit. Like, 1.0 is dog shit compared to 2.0.
It is.
Like, absolutely. And I still have problems with Wuthering Waves. Like, for instance, like, where's the end game and stuff? But who knows? Maybe soon. But like, there's still a lot of problems with Wuthering Waves. It's not a perfect game at all. There's so many things they could improve on. But I like what the update did and I'm enjoying it. But past that, I hope that they keep up the momentum, because if they don't keep up the momentum, then I'll get bored. I'll get tired of the game. I won't be interested. You need to keep people's interest. That's the same that ZZZ needs to do. If ZZZ is able to keep up the momentum, it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep doing great. They have, like, I don't know how good 1.5 update is. I saw it. The characters look cool, but I don't really understand, I guess, some of the stuff that they added. I wasn't really looking too deep into it. But if that update does well, and then, I don't know, 1.6 goes well, and then like 1.7, 1.8, whatever, and then 2.0 is a banger, I think that game's going to just keep growing, and it could grow to the same level of like Genshin and Honkai Star Rail for the company potentially.
You know the reference I used for ZZZ? I said it's a great game. Why is it getting love in it? I said basically ZZZ is like how I was. I have two older brothers. Genizat, I went to math class in 8th grade. This is a true story. And as soon as I walked in, the teacher said, "Your last name's Whitty. You're sitting in the back." And I was like, damn, that's crazy. My brother was bad as shit in this class. And like, I had to work towards her good graces for the next 3 months. And then once I worked towards her good graces, I actually ended up being one of her most beloved students of all time. And I became phenomenal at math. That was my relationship with even the coaches in the high schools. My brothers were so fucking horrible that I had to always prove to people that I wasn't my brothers. I think that is Zenless Zone Zero. It's got to prove itself. It has to prove that it's not HSR and Genshin Impact in terms of being bad, like, and how it treats its community. And I think it's doing that.
I do. I look, I don't even like ZZZ. I don't even play the game, but I have to say good things about what they recently did. Like, this, I'm being honest about it. Like, they did a really good job with it. That's just the way it is. And I think they could do better. Absolutely. Like, with these updates, they could keep doing better. And I think it's funny. You said it needs to compete with Genshin Honkai Star, and I totally agree. But you know what's interesting? I feel like what it really needs to compete with is Honkai 3rd and PGR, not in terms of money or anything, but compete in terms of like how people look at the game. Because
very similar combat.
It realistically, when it came out, before it came out, I was saying like, I don't really see the potential of this game because we kind of already have 2 examples of a game that's very similar. Yeah. It's not the same exact thing, but really similar. And they don't make a ton of money and people don't love the games. They're not huge. So why is ZZZ going to be so big? And I was saying, I think it's going to make a ton of money at first, and I think it's going to drop really hard. And that's exactly what happened. But I didn't expect them to do the redemption arc that they're doing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I had a different perspective, Genizat, and I talked to people about this, but when I looked at its numbers and then compared them to what HSR and Genshin did in the launches, it was half the revenue. And so I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if this is actually impressive because it's only half the revenue. And then they had all the hype around it. So I think it actually never really captured the audience. And plus, also, Hoyo has accumulated a lot of haters over time. They've accumulated.
Absolutely.
And I
think
think
it's just a lot of lovers.
Yeah, a lot of lovers for sure. But I'm saying, like, every time they launch a new game, those lovers kind of can't leave the other game. They're just still like, but the haters, they definitely remember. So they see the new game like, nah, I'm good, you know. I feel like that's what they did with ZZZ.
I once talked to someone who works in mobile game industry about like gacha saturation essentially, and he was talking to me about how eventually there's going to be too many gachas, and like, let's say every time a new gacha comes along, a few people leave other gachas. But at a certain point, it will be so saturated where there's so many gachas, everyone's already attached to a gacha. You have to leave a gacha to enter the next gacha, sort of in a way. Like, at a certain point, like, you can't just play like 30 gachas. Like, no one's going to do that other than like Toho Sniper. So at a certain point, you're going to have to leave a gacha to play another one, and it will be so saturated that it's just hard for any of these to succeed.
Yeah, it's fragmented community essentially, and the gachas that were, it's basically a best way to explain that is when there's just not enough food on the table for everyone to eat. And the only way to fix that is by expanding the gacha space. But from what I've seen, I thought the gacha space was breaking out into the mainstream. It's not. It's
not
just
really.
Not.
Yeah, no. You know what we need? If Marvel Rivals was a gacha, then it would have. Yeah. We needed that. That's what we're missing. If you had to roll for the characters, bro, that shit would have gone insane, actually.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. But I will say, brother, we're actually coming up on an hour here. I want to get back to gaming. No, you know, as usual, I'm gonna raid you after I end stream. I probably got another hour in me, maybe, probably an hour in me, and then I'm gonna call it a day. But it was great talking with you, Genizat. Chat, this is Genizat, by the way, man. We're gonna rate him after I end my stream.
Everyone knows Gacha Smack. You know, Smack Daddy, the old days.
Yeah, the Smack Daddy. That shit is so, bro. That's how I know people know of me if they know my old name, bro. Holy shit.
Then it was so funny that was your old name, bro.
Yeah. But nah, enjoy your stream though, brother, and great talking with you, man.
Yeah, no, great talk, and hope you enjoy Amphorius. See you later, dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah. All right, brother.
All right, peace.
Love that guy, chat. That guy is fucking great.